Take me to a place I know well. I'm caught in the middle, slow motion. I wasn't in the mood for loving. You came in and changed that notion. Laid my heart on the pavement for you. Gave my all, I was saving it for you. I was hoping you could offer something. You allow us to amount to nothing like show me how you love me now. Show me how you feel about me. Show me what it takes to make you care, 'cause loving you isn't fair. Empty as the room we sleep in. I've been trying my best not to deep it. You just lay me down when I mention that your work is getting all your attention. Like, baby, come on, fill me up, then leave me here all alone again. Maybe I just needed love. Maybe I'll just learn to roll with it. 'Cause I've been learning how to trust, and you need lessons in love. You need lessons in love. And I'll still save a space for us, but you need lessons in love. You need lessons in love. Show me how you love me now. Show me how you feel about me. Show me what it takes to make you care, 'cause loving you isn't fair. Baby, come and fill me up. Leave me here all alone again. Maybe I just needed love. Maybe I just learned to roll with it. Baby, come and fill me up. Leave me here all alone again. Maybe I just needed love. Show me how you love me now. Show me how you feel about me. Show me what it takes to make you care, 'cause loving you isn't fair. Take me to a place I know well. I'm caught in the middle, slow motion.
Live, and we are unmuted, live and direct.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Everybody in the chat, say what's up. Rob Jones, Joshua Casper, back at you with our second annual holiday stream. Isn't that right, Rob? We started live streaming on Plugin Boutique last Christmas. I think was the first stream we did, or was it Black Friday?
Yeah, I think this is the third. I think we've been doing this for a couple of years. 'Cause I definitely started Produce Tech live streams a couple of years ago. So I feel like we snuck one in at the end of that year. Maybe not though. Maybe that was early days for me. So you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is only the second one. Either way, I'm happy to be here with you and everybody here watching. People are asking, and I'm asking as well, what was that track we heard in the beginning, sort of the countdown? Because it was vibes, bro. It's chill out, those vocals, steamy. Tell me a little bit about that track, where you found it.
Yeah, so that's a track by L Train, who joined us on a stream a few months back or so. We did like a sample pack feature on him. He's an amazing producer. He's also a tutor on Producer Tech, and that is a track off his latest album. The track's called Lessons in Love, with an amazing vocalist called Fliss, and it's the track we are using for our latest member remix comp at producetech.com, so people can remix that track over the next month or so. The winner of the remix comp will also get released, which is awesome, on the next L Train EP. And top prize for this comp is Machine Micro.
Oh wow!
Complete 13.
Oh wow!
Yeah, a year's worth of Loopcloud.
What?
Yeah, it's an amazing prize. Oh, and a Produce Tech hoodie. Don't forget Produce Tech hoodie.
I want a producer tech hoodie. Like, can we hook that up, Rob?
Everyone
It's Christmas.
Wants one. Everyone wants one. Yeah.
Oh wow, they're like they go off the shelves, bro. My goodness. I got to get on the VIP, or I got to wait in line. What do I got to do? Let me know.
You just got to be really good.
I've been good.
Have you been good? All right. Well,
yeah, absolutely.
You're top of the list then.
All right. Well, once again, hello to everybody that is in the chat. I saw people from Greece, the UK, Brazil, Ohio, I believe I saw. It's the holiday season. We're back at you again with the holiday stream. Today's stream is going to be a little bit different. So, Rob, if you don't mind, just let me run down kind of what's changed, what we're going to be doing, and just a little bit about the stream itself. This will continue for 2022, but we have a slow chat now. And also the way giveaways are going to work is a little bit different. We don't want anyone to spam anything ever, so that's why we've added the 90-second delay in between chats. And anytime Rob does a demo for this stream, we're going to give a copy of that away just like usual. So we've got 10 guests. We actually have 11 guests. I'll explain why in a second. But to win those, you just need to be in the chat, active, like the video, share the video. If you could share the video, that'd be awesome. Obviously, we can't track that, but just be in the chat, be positive, help people if they have questions you know the answer to, ask questions, make comments, just be generally in the holiday spirit, and we're going to select a random person for each one of those plugins throughout the stream. We just want to keep the chat on focus. We got a little bit crazy, especially in the Black Friday one. I know you were part of that stream, so you know, Rob. So that's what we're doing. Also, you need to be a subscriber to be in the chat. So if you want to take part, subscribe. You won't regret it even after the stream is done, because we put out nonstop great video content. And 2022 is going to be huge. So that being said, we're also going to be doing groups of plugins at once, Rob, if I'm correct, so we can kind of keep things moving. We've got 10 plugins again to get through. Mm-hmm. That's a lot, and we don't want to keep everybody stuck online for 2-3 hours going through it. Every one of these plugins that we're about to cover, I've already done full-length video tutorials on. Throughout the stream, we'll be putting links to those. They're also in the video description. If you want to know more about any of them, go ahead and check that out, so we don't have to put too much on you, Rob, to get through in a short amount of time. I do demos. I know that time restraints are not fun. So, all right, that's out of the way. Also, if you have any questions for myself or Rob, or just in general about any of the plugins or Plugin Boutique, go ahead and @Plugin Boutique, and my friend Ryan is monitoring the chat for any bad people, not nice people, and any questions, and he will feed those to me, and we'll be able to answer those on stream as well. I think I covered it, Rob. Does that sound right, or am I missing anything?
That sounds like the perfect intro. I think we're covered there, yeah.
All right. So, I mean, that being said, Rob, what are you going to be showing us first?
So we're going to look at Loopcloud DRUM and also Reso, I think, mastering the mix.
And I think you said Lifeline Expanse was going to be in there as well.
I think. Oh, yeah, all three? Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
That's what I have here in my notes, Rob.
You're probably right.
You sent me these notes, so I hope I'm not catching you off guard.
No, you're right. You are right. I forgot about that. Thanks.
It's literally quoted from Rob here. All right, so we got Loopcloud DRUM, which just came out in VST version, which means you don't need a Loopcloud subscription to use it. Obviously, if you have a Loopcloud subscription, you get Loopcloud DRUM with it. But we actually now have a VST version of both Drum and Play on pluginboutique.com, and a bunch of really big exclusive bundled content for them. So links will be in the chat to go check that out. Really, really cool plugin. We've shown it a bunch of times. You're going to see it again. I think you're going to be impressed because it's different every time. Mastering the Mix Reso, it came out fairly recently. Mastering the Mix have nothing but great mixing and mastering plugins, and Reso is no different. It automatically finds and highlights and attenuates resonant frequencies in your mix, and then you have full control. You can add more points, take away points, reduce, or get more aggressive with what you're taking away. And then Lifeline Expanse from Excite Audio is another brand new plugin from a brand new manufacturer that's absolutely fantastic. It's a multi-effect that helps you virtually reamp sounds, add saturation, distortion, and reverb, and a bunch of other really great stuff. So just like I said, I'm going to keep things to a minimum and let Rob just show you and let you hear what all these plugins can do. So Rob, go ahead. If you're ready, jump into that first group of plugins.
Thanks. I'll see you in a moment.
All right.
So yeah, we're going to start off with Loopcloud DRUM. I've just got it on this first track here, and we're going to just quickly look at one of the workflows that I use to create sort of simple drum patterns. They don't need to be simple, but it's just one way that I can create, say, a drum pattern that you're always going to keep replicating over and over again, like on a house track. So, and I'll show you a few of the features in the new preset browser in the latest version that allow you to make that even quicker and easier. So in here you can see I can browse by genres, which is a really cool thing. So if I want to create a house break, I can just select the house tag there, and then it just limits it to any packs. Can I hear heavy breathing from you, Josh? It's all good. Your mic's on, just to let you know. Yeah, so you can limit it to just the house packs now. And then one thing I can do here is I can select a particular kit, like this one maybe. Say if I'm liking that one, I think, yeah, that's really cool, but I'd like to try out some other patterns with it. We'll come back to that actually, but if I just go back to the main kit here, what I can do is just mute some of these pads. The top ones are normally where you get the melodic sounds and vocals and basses and stuff like that, so I can mute those, so we're just left with the drums. And then I can go back into the browser and I can lock the mutes and solos, and I can lock the samples. So what that'll do is it'll keep the sounds from that kit, and it'll keep those upper pads muted. Of course, you can always save your own kit version of that has the mutes already in place, so you don't need to do what I just did there to make it even quicker. And now I can go around to some of these different packs here and just choose some of the different ones. So yeah, obviously the beats are all pretty similar there, not too many changes, but because it's changing the parameters and the effects and all that kind of thing, you can hear the delay changing on the hat. You could hear just slight differences to the percussion and stuff like that. So that's kind of a cool little feature there. Of course, I can come back now and I can change any of these individual sounds. Like if this one's a little bit weak, I can just click on the kit generator. I can just change it to a different percussion sound. Ride's quite nice, but if I wanted to, I could change the tag to maybe shaker, to just check out shakers for it. And so on. And of course, if I want to randomize all the sounds while I'm here, I can just click on generate there. One thing though, when you do this, it's going to do it non-genre specific, so you might end up with a very random sound. Although that's quite nice. But if you want to set it just to house, you can open up the refine search area and just turn that on there. So that will mean it's just searching for house samples when I generate. And yeah, you could fill this whole grid up here and then just click around to quickly change your drums, which I've shown before, which is a really nice feature there. So yeah, really, really great features for getting going really instantly. And you can see with these expansion packs, which is where this kit came from, you actually get a full 8-bar pattern. And in this case, because it's a house kit, there's not too much variation. It's just a kick dropping out here and there and a sort of small fill at the end and stuff like that. But it's a way of very quickly getting an 8-bar loop going by just clicking on the audio export and then dragging out the WAV. and that gives you an immediate sort of drum loop there with your selected drums, which I've created really, really quickly and easily. And every time you click on that export, it adds that loop to your Loopcloud library. So that's going to now be living in my Loopcloud library as a drum loop that I can call on whenever I like. So yeah, I think that's probably enough drum features for now. Next thing I was going to show is Reso. So let's just open that one up. This is another plugin for, as Josh said, getting rid of those annoying, horrible sort of resonances in a track. It's really, really simple to use. If I just turn it on, that would help. What you can do is click on Calculate Targets. It's taking its time there. Okay, let me just load up a new instance and what's happened there. Let's drag it out. There we go, that's what should happen. And then you can see it's placed all these different, what's called nodes, on all these different peaks here. You can sort of see them lining up with the various peaks. And the easiest way to then use it is just to click Engage. And then each one of these nodes gets turned on. And all of them have their own sort of recommended queue, so bandwidth, as you can see at the top there. But if I hold down Shift or use the scroll actually on my mouse, it just changes that queue. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it as recommended. But you can see how you can go around to each one. You can also solo each one. Or you can solo the whole lot at the top here. So even on a drum loop like that, where you might not necessarily think to use something like this, it can just really help to remove these unpleasant resonances. They're quite subtle until you solo them and kind of really listen to what's there. But these things really stack up in a mix. So doing this as much as possible on all of your sounds, but certainly the loud sounds and certainly the higher frequency ones, is definitely recommended. If you want to add your own here, so supposing there's and I'm not sure we'd want to get rid of this one, but if you wanted to, you could just double click. And you can drag it up and down to change the amount there. And of course remove it with the cross. You can also do an A/B, so if you want to do a second one where you say set up your own one on a few of these and then just A/B it with the other one, then that's another way to go. So really simple, really great plugin, but very effective and definitely helps clean up your mix. So that's Loopcloud and Reso, and yeah, I was going to show Lifeline Expanse over here, wasn't I? So I've got this organ loop here. Really nice, very clean kind of organ loop. And Lifeline Expanse is a really, really great plugin for adding grit, character, presence, just all sorts of things really. And the way it works is you've got these different modules here which you can drag around. You've got a separate mix dial for each one, and then you've got these, a bit like macro controls, essential parameters for each one of these. You can see you've got format, you've got dirt, reamp. I really like the reamp here because you've got things like cabinet in there. You've got tube emulation if you want to add warmth and that sort of thing. You've got width, which is things like harsh delay. And then you've got space, which is reverb and also slap delay of some kind with like an echo on it. Let's just turn that on. If very short and resonant kind of sounding delay. So yeah, let's just check out some of the presets. It's probably the best way to go with this. On the keys here. So a massive range there, from very kind of lush chorusy ones there to you know, lo-fi grittier ones. Yeah, they just got so much variety with this. I quite like that chroma keys one there. Nice. Yeah, I mean, the presets speak for themselves there. Tons of awesome sounds you can make with this. So another really great plugin. Let's go back to Josh. You're back.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done. I just want to say thanks to the chat. I like the new format. Just remember, for people that came late, to win any of the plugins we do today or showcase today, you just need to be active in the chat and hit the like button, share the video, just to help us make these bigger. And when they're bigger, we can obviously give back to the community better. But on top of that, at Plugin Boutique with your questions, and we'll try to answer them on stream. Next up, Rob, what are we talking about?
I think it's Pigments next, isn't it?
That's right. So Pigments 3.5. Just came out a couple days ago, or last week maybe. This is a free update for anyone who already has Pigments 3. I think Pigments was like a year ago already, but they're obviously on 0.5 and lots of new features. 0.5 brings engine cross modulation, which looks and sounds incredible. A new distortion module with lots of new distortion types, and it's also got automatic gain compensation as well in there, which I think is really cool. There is an expanded comb filter, an updated sample browser, a new wavetables and sound banks, so lots of new sounds, and it is Apple M1 compatible, which I think is something we're going to see a lot more of, hopefully, because I need to get my hands on one of those new M1 PowerBooks. They look fantastic, and the only reason why I'm not is because I need to hold off with that M1 compatibility. Seems to be the future. I haven't seen anything really negative about it, but it's going to take a minute, I think, for everybody to catch up and get their plugins compatible with that. What do you think about it? You're an Apple user, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah, but I don't really know much about the M thing. M1. What is it?
Well, there's M1, M1 Pro, and M1 Max.
Right. Which
like integrate everything. GPU is part of the chip. I believe people in the chat can, and I'm sure they will let me know if I'm wrong. But things like Adobe and I would assume DAWs at this point are just lightning fast with the chip, just because of how everything is integrated and all sitting together rather than different components, and you have to communicate. You got latency there and so forth. And they also just have a massive amount of RAM, VRAM, and processor speeds and so on. So
nice.
Yeah, I mean it makes me. So it is Christmas time, Rob, and if you want to give me a PowerBook, I will accept it from you. I'm just saying.
You can't have a PowerBook and a Produce Tech hoodie. You need to decide which is.
Oh no! I also, before you jump into the Pigments 3.5 demo, I do want to show everybody the Christmas tree. Can you see the Christmas tree, Rob?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's not quite as good as the one in the middle here, but.
Oh yeah, it's side of the thumbnail. I mean, I designed that Christmas tree in the thumbnail, and I also decorated. No, I didn't design or decorate that tree, but I just want to tell everybody, no, I was trying to frame the camera to get but it's just too difficult. But anyway,
you got the fence in though. You got the fence in, so that's the main thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Rob. I love your positivity, man. You just make these streams go so well. But I'm going to stop talking. You show everybody what's up with Pigments 3.5, my friend.
Alrighty. We'll see you in a moment. Cool. So here's Pigments, and yeah, it's a synth I only started using recently, but I'm really digging it. And the new features in 3.5 are great. They've really expanded the sort of wavetable side of things. So am I record enabled and turned on? No, there we go. So let's just run through a couple of the new wavetables. First of all, though, I'm just going to grab this function 1 here, and I'm going to use it to modulate this up and down. You can see it going up and down through the wavetable now. So let's check out now these new 3.5 wavetables. There's some really awesome ones in here. You can hear all kinds of stuff, and there's tons here. I think it's 150 or something, or is it 150 new presets? There's 150 new something. So just a ton more variety there. What I thought would be good to show actually now is going back to the basic waveforms, how to kind of create your own. So we're going to go with, actually I'm just going to get rid of this function 1 modulation, and we're going to go over to engine 2, and we're going to use engine 2 here to modulate or cross modulate engine 1. So we're not going to listen to engine 2, we're just going to use it as a modulation source. Now I think in the previous version you only had FM, but now you have all these additional modulation dials down the bottom here. So let's go with analog perhaps, turn it on. So it's just doing a sawtooth right now. We'll keep it as a sawtooth, could change it to a sine, but I think we'll go with that, and then just turn the volume down. And then back on engine 1, we just need to choose engine 2 as the modulation source. So now this sawtooth that we're not listening to because it's turned down is just going to be able to be used to modulate this sine wave here. Pick a good octave. So yeah, you've got loads of fun there you can play around with. What I'm going to do here is just use this function 1 once again to just bring these dials up and down in different amounts. So I think it's a really fun way to just very quickly create your own sort of wavetable type effect. And you can just change these different amounts here to transform the sounds in different ways. So you can just turn one of them on and off. And of course you can mess around with the tuning of engine 2. Probably best to keep it to octaves or maybe fifths though, unless you want the sideband, you know, the harmonics created to be completely out of tune. But yeah, it's quite a fun way there of creating really nice wavetable type effects by using the new cross modulation feature. Just a couple of other new features I'll quickly show you. We've got a new section down here. We've got these new modes, comb filter modes. So not only have you got the really awesome sounding comb filter, but you can set it to one of these modes here: low pass, band pass, or high pass. We'll just keep it on low pass. When it's in low pass mode, you've got this damping here, which acts a bit like a cut off on a low pass, so that can be used to bring the high frequencies in and out. And the all pass is a really nice tuning control. It has some kind of effect on the resonance of it perhaps, but it changes the timbre to something a lot kind of gnarlier when it goes up high like that. So that could be a fun one to modulate as well with the function. Maybe let's just bring it up like that. Pretty nice. Just jumping over to the effects, because the effects, there are new distortion modes which are really tasty as well. I might just use the function once again to bring the drive up and down though. So loads of different types there now. You can create all sorts of really kind of twisted sounds. So yeah, 3 really great new features within the synth there for creating particularly kind of twisted digital type sounds, which is already really great at. But yeah, very happy to see those new features added in. I did create, created my own user one. I still got it. How can I see my user library? It's in here, isn't it? My saved presets, digital bass. This is the one I kind of created earlier. Anyway, yeah, new features in 3.5. They're really great. There's a few other little bits as well, like changes to the sample browser back on the main window. But yeah, those are the sort of main features on the synth there, and having loads of fun with those. All right, let's bring Josh back in. Hey, man.
Hey. All right, so we got a bunch of questions.
Oh.
So let's try to run through these.
Okay.
Also, just at Plugin Boutique with your questions, and we'll try to write them down and get them answered on stream. I did see someone saying, you know, Phase Plant is an incredible synth, and it absolutely is. And I just want to let you know we've chosen these plugins to talk about today because they came out this year, and just in general consensus in the office and the community is that they're really good and they're ones that people should have on their radar. So that's not to say there weren't other incredible synths, effects, processors, what have you, that came out this year or just have stayed around for years with good reason. We gotta narrow it down somehow. You know what I'm saying? Also, people were asking if you should get the Pigments 3 or Serum, and if you can, get both. If you can't, you gotta go in and just do deep dives. That's what I would do, is just do deep dives on both. Watch all the videos you can, all the sound design tutorials you can. Both of them output incredible sonic just information. It's just, they both sound incredible. But it's a lot about how your workflow. It's a lot about what you want to accomplish in the end. And I would just say do a deep dive. I believe you can do demos of both. Maybe Serum doesn't have a demo. But yeah, YouTube videos are your best friend on that. John McRory asked if you can export to separate tracks with drum. Rob, can you take that one? I think you can feel that one after doing a master class on it.
Sure, yeah. Let me just switch back so I can show you that one.
I don't think we need to switch back in and actually show people it for everyone, but if you want
Too late.
For this one, yeah, I'm not going to stop you.
Too late.
By all means.
Yeah, just to open up. You can see on the mixer now, you've got... oh, Josh is in the way. Down here, so here's all our individual drums. You've got the kick, clap, shaker, etc. Authorizing my iLok software, that's fine. Down here at the bottom now, you've got these little options for each one where you can set it to either the master output or one of the individual outputs. And that means back on your audio tracks in Ableton, get rid of this, you can choose Loopcloud DRUM here, and then any one of these different outputs to route that separate drum to its own track. And you can do that with obviously any of the main drums, or all of them if you want to root out everything into your project. So yeah, really, really big, massive addition to the last update or the one before. Yeah,
I'd say Drum has an incredibly robust export feature. Not only can you export sequences or mixdowns or the individual drums, but everything gets automatically added to your Loopcloud library and automatically tagged. So you don't need to go in and rewrite, this is a hi-hat. Loopcloud's AI is actually going to listen to it and tag it as a hi-hat for you. So, I mean, yes. So the answer there is yes, absolutely. Get into it and check it out because it's going to blow your mind. Next question was, do you need to be active till the end to be eligible for the giveaway? The way the giveaways are working now is you just need to be active. And during each segment, whenever Rob is showcasing or demoing a plugin, my friend Ryan is going to pick someone who's active in the chat at random. If you were picked and then you happen to leave, just come back and visit the archive of the stream and see if you've won. At the end of the stream, I will announce all the winners. We'll also put them as the first pinned comment on the video after the stream. So if you have to leave, don't leave. We love having you here, but if you do have to leave, we get it. Just come back later and see if you've won. Next question. Could Pigments also be used as an effects channel? And I believe they're talking about Serum, Rob, where you actually get Serum effects as an effect and then Serum synth as a synth. I don't believe you can. Do you know, being in Ableton Live? I believe
I'm actually looking now. I don't think you can either, but I'm just checking.
A sort of workaround for that might be is maybe importing a sound and then using it. I'm not really sure what you're trying to go for there, but I don't believe it has the same sort of just effects like Serum does.
No, worth knowing though that Arturia do have their own effects suite.
Yep.
And and that has loads of really, really high quality effects separately. So they do have a ton of great effects there.
Okay.
But no, I don't think it has a separate Pigments FX.
Someone was also wondering, Rob, and this would be a great question for you. How is it on the CPU? They're running a 2015 MacBook Pro, and they're wondering if they need to keep freezing and flattening, or just how it does in general.
I'd say it's kind of medium. It's definitely similar to Serum. Yeah, I mean, I've got a powerful iMac here, and it doesn't have any problem running it, running quite a few of them. Well, I mean, I've done live streams with it, plus a few other heavy going plugins as well, and it's been totally fine.
Nice.
But these days I tend to freeze stuff, by habit anyway, just to make sure everything's running as well as it can.
I'm right there with you. Even if I don't need to, I'm usually freezing. And then I also like to, and I don't know if you can agree with this, but I like to just flatten sometimes and just stick with what I have.
If you can do that. Sometimes I duplicate the track, turn everything off, and just put it away in case I need to come back to it. And then you almost never do need to come back to it.
I like to not have the option, because you might end up going in and doing little tweaks before you know it, you have a completely different sound that isn't working for your project. So
I completely hear you though. Commit as much as possible.
Someone said it looks like Pigments has an incredible amount of possibilities for evolving and living sounds, and they're wondering about presets. Rob, have you had a good listen to some of the presets that ship with Pigments 3?
Quite a lot of them. I think there's a ton of new ones for 3.5.
Right.
I mean, I've searched through a few different types. I've searched through like heavier basses when I've been searching for one of those, and it's got a nice range of that. It's certainly got a lot of variety. It's not the kind of synth that you load up and think, oh, okay, this is a distinctive sound and it can only go in one of a few directions. Maybe it's sort of got the really nice kind of clean, floaty sounds. Or no, it's got a full range of sounds, and you can search by genre as well. So there's a lot in there.
And it's from Arturia, so it's a safe bet that you're going to get not only the huge range that Rob's talking about, but nothing but high quality from everything. I mean, they don't mess around. They come correct each and every time. And this is sort of their flagship in-house, not emulation synth. So you can expect nothing but good things. Off the top of the dome, Rob, question for you. Does Pigments 3 do anything that Serum can't?
It's certainly got quite a lot more modulators. Down the bottom, I didn't load them all up there, but you've got 3 LFOs, 3 envelopes, 3, I think, functions. So 3 separate, curves that you can draw yourself. I can't remember. I think Serum's got 2 LFOs. I can't remember, but it's definitely got fewer. Yeah, you've got a lot of options there. You've also got the matrix is generally better. If you can see when I was modulating stuff, it all popped up in the middle. So when you click on a modulator, they're all there. So you don't have to kind of go off to the matrix separately.
The matrix page,
yeah,
which is kind of rows and columns and things.
Yeah, a bit fiddly.
I do like the visual cues inside of Pigments that help you get things quicker without having to read a bunch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna keep it moving. Keep the questions coming at Plugin Boutique with your questions. Like the video, be active in the chat to win. Let's keep going. Next up, we're gonna talk about InstaComposer from WA Production. This is their kind of flagship synth or flagship VST rather that came out this year, and this is insane. What it does is actually generates entire tracks essentially for you automatically using AI. You put in parameters like your key, and then it just generates not only your chords, but your bass, your melody, your counter melody, and a lot of other things at the click of one button. We're actually going to be showing it a clip of one of the videos I've done. If it's interesting to you, definitely watch the entire video. It's like a 15-minute video. And a cool thing about this giveaway, not only are you going to get that incredible VST from WA Production, which, trust me, is insane, you're also going to get Blue Cat's Patchworks, which allows you inside of Ableton Live or another DAW to get multiple outputs from the VST, so you can then go in and render your different tracks or do your mixing and affecting and processing afterwards. So Rob, if you want to go ahead and play that clip, and then we'll come back and talk about it. If you have any questions, go ahead and at Plugin Boutique, and I will answer you. I had a lot of time with this thing, and it's really, really cool. You're going to love it.
All right.
Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and today we're checking out InstaComposer from WA Production. This is an incredible plugin for your collection. It generates literally an entire song for you automatically. So what we have here are 5 MIDI channels. And each one of the MIDI channels has one of these. So on this top one, I've got a melody. On the second one, I've got a rhythm. The third one, a bass. The fourth one, a pad. And the fifth one, a chord. And this is what it sounds like. Literally, beyond the routing, all I did was just hit the random button, which is the big go button down here at the bottom. I'm going to do it again. Now, it's going to randomize whatever I have selected here, and I can select one by clicking right here, and you'll see that it's automatically selected there. Or I can just select all and hit go, and you'll see that everything has been updated. Now, key is whatever key I choose here, so maybe we want to switch it to F. And you'll notice if I switch the key, it will switch automatically, but keep all of the patterns that I've already generated. And I can also choose between major, minor, and a harmonic minor. Now, when I do that, it will give me a chord progression down here, and I can actually come in here and choose the chords by myself, or manually rather. And I have all of these different chord types to choose from. Or I can just hit new chord progression, and you'll see that it'll update that every time. But let's listen to the new pattern I have just by hitting the go button one time. Is that not insane? So it's literally generating 5 MIDI performances that all fit together very well at the click of a button.
And we're back.
And we're back. So yeah, as I said, that was just a short snippet from my 15-minute opus on InstaComposer. It is a really incredible VST. It's just one button after you give it some parameters, and it generate everything for you. And it's almost always it sounds really good together. I have a big issue with counter melodies, and it just generates those for me automatically. And it's like, yeah, okay, this is perfect. You can get a lot more granular with sort of giving it a roadmap of what you're looking for. You can add the humanization. You can add, you want shorter notes, longer notes. You want it to be busier, less busy, so on and so forth. So you can get into all of that. And again, I cover that in the video, which has been linked inside of the chat and in the video description. So definitely check it out. Someone was asking if they already have Scalar 2, should they check out InstaComposer? And I would say, if you can, absolutely. They are similar, but I would say different at the same time. And not only that, but the algorithms inside of them are different. So you'll get different results from both of them. They're both going to help you do better with your music theory and how things are interacting with one another, but they're driven by different engines, so you can expect different results. So if you can, I would definitely do it. I highly suggest checking out the full video and then making a decision for yourself, though. Let me see if I got any more questions. Does InstaComposer generate melodies or chords? It generates both, and bass lines, and a few other things as well. It actually generates everything to your liking. So the answer to that is yeah, absolutely. Melodies and chords. Is there a way to have different voicings for different instruments? Bass playing the root notes, which one of the chords being... as I said, that you can get a lot more granular with each one of the different tracks inside of InstaComposer. And then obviously you can just drag and drop the MIDI into your DAW of choice and then move from there and decide how you want to mix and match and manipulate. So yes, I would say InstaComposer is great as an idea starter, and the fact that you get the idea for your chords, your melodies, your basses from the click of a button, and then you move from there is the way to go. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's keep this ball rolling. Rob, what do we got up next?
Up next, we have another little group of plugins. We're going to do Imagine, and then TAIP and Claro. So another instrument and two really awesome effects.
So yeah, I've talked about Imagine. It might be one of my favorite synths. It might be the favorite synth that came out this year. I unfortunately haven't had enough time to do a second video on it. I have done a video that was pretty specific to making like kind of an acoustic, really unique sounding bass, but the instrument is really, really good. It uses Applied Acoustic Systems engine. They're modeling. They're like, it's like patented modeling software. And the sounds that come out of it are just so unique and are not analog, but they sound analog. They sound like, I don't know, like a futuristic stringed instrument. It just sounds so good. It's so lush. Definitely check that out if you can. I'm sure Rob's going to show you and let you hear a little bit about it. TAIP is from Baby Audio, a community favorite for good reason. It's a really great effect if you're looking to tweak stuff out, if you're looking to get saturation in a sort of a tape style. It's actually AI tape. That's where the spelling of tape is TAIP. So it's tape saturation driven by artificial intelligence, which is mind-blowing. And then we've got Claro, which is a really great plugin. There's so many great plugins this year now that we're going through this list, Rob. I did a really long video on that as well, and it is a phenomenal EQ. If you're looking to get into mixing in any serious capacity, I highly recommend Claro, just because of the functionality between the three different pages. There's the produce page, which allows you to do quick sort of general EQ corrections, and then there's the tweak, which allows you to get really, really focused, and then there's, I forgot what it's called. Is it the produce? I think it's called Produce, where you actually get to see all of the different instances of Claro in your project, see where you can highlight any two and see where masking is coming up. In fact, if you highlight one, you can see where any masking on any of the channels is coming. It's phenomenal. For anyone who likes to get really into the nitty gritty and get things super clean and super sharp, definitely a plugin for you. So Rob, take it away, show people what I'm talking about, and I'll see you when you get back.
Okay, see you in a bit. Yeah, so starting off with Imagine then. Really, really nice synth. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Chromophone, which was one of the great instruments of last year. And it's got these really, really nice sounds. So I've just loaded up a default instance here. Just going to step through a few of these different. I'll just turn off this one for a minute. It's a little bit quiet, isn't it? Let's turn that up. So you can hear the kinds of sounds it makes. You can see at the top here, you've got this information here about what kind of resonators and what exciter, that's it, we've got in use. So this is kind of like the body and the transient almost. Really, really nice sounds in there. These are the kind of main controls for the sound. Well, obviously you've got up the top here these sliders for controlling things like level and pitch. One on the release there to set how long it lasts, how quick the fade out is after I release a note. Here you've got things like shine, which is sort of the top end, a bit like a tone control. Mute, which is another one for setting how long it lasts, whether it's kind of got damping or not. So it's whether the kind of body of it, the lower frequencies, are allowed to ring out or not. Position there for changing the timbre really nicely, and impact for choosing what kind of a transient you've got, whether it's a mallet or really breathy, kind of brushy hit at the beginning there. So loads of really nice options there. I thought it'd be fun to have a look at the excuse me, the onboard sequencing. Is always fun to play around with. I was messing around with that last night and created some cool kind of ARP sounds. So just choose one of these. We just have to click validate to load it up, and then let's load up a different sound. Really quiet. Let's just change it to a 16th. And let's just bring down the amount of steps to 3. One of the things I like here, actually, is just turn up the level a little bit more. Again, it's still quite quiet. One of the things you can do up the top here is increase this expression. This makes the sound a lot kind of more, well, brighter, more interesting, sometimes a little bit distorted, and obviously louder, as you can hear there. I really like the randomizer here. So even though we've got these same 3 notes kind of sounding over and over again, you can hear it more with that one. With the randomizer turned up there, it just changes the timbre kind of more obviously on certain sounds than others, but it just creates that really nice variety there, which is really really appealing. Another way obviously is to modulate things. I quite like changing these controls like the timbre here. The way you apply modulating on this one is that you click on the plus there, and then you can just click on the outside here to add this macro to the outer dial, which you can obviously then turn up and down manually, or you can just click here to have this curve control it instead. And then we can slow down the rate. Quite nice. I'm just going to go over to my user library here to save us some time and go to random ARP. Here's two I created earlier, and here I've got this macro modulating the timbre and other macros modulating all sorts of other stuff. I can't remember what I modulated now. I think it's all in the effects section, which is there. Yeah, so I got it controlling the. You can click on the different macros here to see what's going on. One is controlling the frequency bend. You've got some really nice kind of wonky pitch shifting options in there, which are great. One is controlling the plate reverb here to bring that in and out. And I think one is doing a distortion, perhaps. Not bad. I did another one earlier as well, which is a more distorted one. We're doing all the same sorts of things. So yeah, really, really, really nice and fun one to play around with. Let's just keep this one loaded. And then just load up some effects so you can hear these two other plugins we've got on the chain here. First of all, TAIP. Great plugin if you want to add sort of grit, saturation, analog kind of effects, the sorts of things you'd get from TAIP, which is the wow and flutter and all that kind of thing. So I've just loaded up the default one here, so it hasn't really got any of the settings applied down the bottom here. First of all, then at the top you can see we've got drive and output, so we're not boosting anything right now, but if you want to turn up the effect, get some sort of distortion and harmonics added, you can just crank up this one here. You can see the gain setting below. One of the useful things you've got here is this auto gain. So if you turn that on, it means that when you crank it up, it doesn't turn up the output like you normally get on most saturators. So you can have it automatically keep the gain at a fixed level, which is a nice feature. You've also got separate output control there if you need it though too. You have normal and hot here. So if you want to really crank up the effect, is this a bit loud by the way? That looks all right. Yeah, you can ramp it up even more if you set it to hot there. Down the bottom here, you have three really nice features. You've got glue compression, which creates a really pleasant gluing sort of gelling effect on the sound. If you crank it up really high, obviously it will have a very noticeable kind of compressed sound, so it will start to affect your transients. But in the middle, it can create, I think, a really, really pleasant sound. You've also got here noise and wear. Noise for adding sort of more obvious noise there, and wear for adding all those tape effects I was talking about earlier with the wow and flutter and that kind of thing. I also really like the controls over here for sort of controlling the tonal characteristics and the overall timbre. You've got presence for boosting the high end, which is very useful when you're adding saturation, which sometimes dampens or kind of mutes or tames the or attenuates the upper frequencies a bit more than you'd like. This allows you to then crank that up. To create a kind of nicer, brighter sound. And then you've got tonal controls for the high and low frequencies, so you can individually control how much saturation or distortion is applied to the upper and lower frequencies, which is really nice to have there as well. Yeah, and then finally there's this single dual mode here, which I haven't really played around with too much, but I believe it sort of creates parallel chains, so you have sort of two instances running side by side for adding more weight, more even more body to the signal. So a really great one. We didn't look at any of the presets there, but you have tons of different presets that you can just instantly load up if you want to try it out on different sounds as well. There's TAIP, and then Claro here. I've really been enjoying this. I've only just started to play with this one as well, and just sort of simply here, I know Josh was talking about applying it to multiple tracks within the project, which we're not going to look at. So this is just applying it to one track here, and essentially it gives you 3 different bands here which can be adjusted. You can set the frequency, or rather the crossover of each band, and then you can use these sliders on each one to bring the levels up and down. So first time I tried it out, I actually just dragged one of my tracks into a project, and then I played around with the frequencies. I just kind of boosted the bass. Just have a listen to that. Actually, it's just... So you can hear there really nice bass boost going on, and then we can use this middle band here to remove like perhaps some of the muddier frequencies we might not want out of the mids. On basses, I've tried it out on the 400 setting. It can be really nice to sort of duck that down a bit. But one of the things I really like about this is the width control. When you set it to width mode, now you've got 3 dials for each of these bands that can control the width. So obviously a great thing there is that you could very quickly come into your low frequencies, maybe even set it to the upper limit there, and then just bring the width right down, and then go up to the higher frequencies and, you know, bring the width up, perhaps even go down to one of the lower ones there and bring the width right up. And that's going to give you a really nice stereo image where you've made sure that your lower frequencies are central and your higher frequencies are spread even wider. Like I said, I tried this on one of my own tracks, and the sound just got so much better just from these very simple, very quick settings, where I just, you know, improved the stereo image here by spreading those high frequencies. And I think I then just came to the tone section and increased the bass even more, and it just, even though I had a lot of bass on the track, it just sort of filled out that bottom end in a really nice way. So a great plugin, another great one from Sonox, and one that you can get results from really quickly and easily. Bring in Josh back. There you go, man.
Hey. Yeah, Claro's phenomenal. It really starts to shine when you do have it on multiple tracks, and you can see the relationship between the different frequencies, if there's any collisions or masking. But yeah, just like you said, even on the produce page, just some subtle boosts or subtle cuts using the preset frequencies, you're going to get great results. And I love that they have the 3 different pages, because when I'm creating, I don't want to be, you know, with a 24 band filter and just thinking about different things. I want to just make boosts or cuts in general, and then keep moving with the creativity, and then come back later and do my mixing. So I love that is set up like that. It's really cool. Someone was asking if it's like OTT, and no, OTT is a multiband compressor, while Claro's an EQ. So no, to answer that. I also got a bunch more questions, Rob, if we could just get through these.
Yep.
How does Imagine compare to Chromophone in your opinion?
Ooh, well, I've used Imagine more from Chromophone. I've sort of dipped into a few times. I mean, I've got to know the features a bit better in Imagine, and I feel like there's a few more options again on the kind of modulation side, playing around with these onboard sequences and stuff like that. I don't think Chromophone has that. But like I said, I haven't really dived too deeply into the synth, so I couldn't say, you know, how much you've got there on the manipulation side. But first impressions, yeah, really, I love the amount of options you've got in Imagine. So I'm really kind of rating that. But often with me, you know, I start to play with a synth, and I like that synth that I'm working on at the moment the most.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's I mean, it is. Someone else was asking if it was physical modeling, and yes, it is. It's actually the same physical modeling technology in Chromophone that is in Imagine. ExpressV actually licensed the Applied Acoustic Systems physical modeling technology in the synth, and that's why they do sound kind of similar, especially on things like percussive hits. But I would say, and again, Chromophone came out, like you said, a year ago. Imagine has more versatility with what you can get from it, and I think Chromophone is more geared towards kind of mallets and struck things. But like I said, I did the tutorial on making a really dope bass sound. So I mean, again, YouTube is your friend. Jump in and do deep dives on both of them if you're considering one or the other. The presentation inside of Imagine is phenomenal. I love how the icons actually morph from one thing. You go from a brush to a mallet, and it morphs in that. It's just, little visual things like that I think are really cool to have, even though the audio isn't changed by that. It's nice to have a pleasant thing to look at while you're really concentrating on what you're hearing as well. Someone asked if you can put your own MIDI into InstaComposer, and I don't know the answer to that. So sorry, but we did get your question. Someone else was asking if Imagine is MPE compatible, and I don't know that either. I do know the company has a really cool MIDI controller, and I saw some people, the Touche is what it's called, and I believe the way you use that seems like it would be MPE compatible, but don't quote me on it. I actually have one, and I'm going to be doing a video on that in the beginning of next year. But at the moment, I can't say yes or no 100% definitively if it is MPE ready.
I don't see anything sort of obvious on the GUI for that. I don't know the answer to that either. But there's no MIDI section where you can see that I found anyway.
Yeah,
you can see those options.
Someone's asking, what is MPE? MPE is like I believe 5-stage MIDI where you have control over more than just kind of an on-off switch and in between. So you've got velocity, aftertouch. You can even put it on the MPE keyboard. You can roll your finger back and forth, and that's a tweakable MIDI signal. You can set to any parameter.
Think rolly keyboards where you
can move your finger up and down the key, which will give you a different sound, and you can add that to automate whatever you want. It's just got a lot more expressiveness, and it makes sense that ExpressV would I hope implement that. If they haven't yet, they will in the future. Just because again, the Imagine just has such a natural feel. It feels organic, and MPE just allows you to further that a lot more, I think.
Yeah.
Does TAIP have any oversampling or an HQ setting, Rob? I can't answer that either. People are asking really good questions that I should know the answer to, but I just don't. It's the camera and the lights. It's making me freeze. I'm like a deer in headlights.
Yeah, no, I don't think it does.
I don't think it, and also it's a saturation plugin, so yeah, I don't think it does. I'm not sure that it needs it though. At the same time, we don't know what the AI is doing in the background either. So maybe it is automatically oversampling and then downsampling when it comes out. So cool. Let's keep moving. I think we're down to our last two plugins of the Christmas/holiday show, Rob. Is that correct?
I think that is correct. Yeah, we just got Cube left and SplitEQ.
Oh, two incredible plugins that came out. The cool thing about Cube, right, is usually you can have up to 8 samples inside of Cube. Usually you have 4. So you've got your box. It's like an XY pad, and you can put a sample in each 4 corners, and then you have your dot, and you can mix between the 4. Cube actually allows you to have 8 So you have like sort of a 3D space, and it's very, very cool how they show it visually. But then you can mix between the 8 different samples, and it's got a really cool automation system inside of like the virtual cube where you can kind of float between the 8 different samples and get some really, if you like textures, if you like really robust and just constantly evolving and moving sounds, this is a synth for you. Rob, I know you're always tight on hardware or excuse me, hard drive space. Do you remember how big the library is? Because I think it's pretty massive. It's like 6 gigabytes or something.
I don't remember it being that huge, honestly. I think it was only maybe a couple of gig.
I'm pretty sure. I think you got a hard drive and you just didn't even know. I'm pretty sure it's like 6 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's a massive library.
There's a lot of samples. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of samples. The presets inside of it are phenomenal. Even just the randomized feature is going to be your best friend in there. And yeah, that's enough about that. You guys are definitely going to want to hear this. And then SplitEQ is going to be the last one today. We're going to be talking about. We've already covered this a bunch, and we're going to cover it again because it's that good. If you haven't seen my video yet, definitely check it out. If you're a mixing or mastering engineer or you aspire to be, this is definitely a plugin that came out this last year that you need inside of your toolbox. So with that being said, keep the chat coming, keep the likes coming, keep sharing the video. After Rob is done, we're going to announce the winners of the stream and then bid you all farewell for happy holidays. But Rob, before we do that, show everybody what's up with Cube and SplitEQ.
Okay. See you in a bit.
Yep.
Cool. So here's Cube. Let's just open up the GUI. Don't forget to mute your mic there, Josh. Yeah, so here's the GUI here. Actually, shall I just initialize it? There we go. So here's the initialized patch. Starting off on the sounds area, just temporarily, you've got this. If I record enable the track, you've got this section here where you can load in up to 8 different sounds, and you can see when I move the mouse over them, the positions that they live in on the cube. So we got A, B, C, D at the front here. Just click on one and then you could sort of load in different sounds. So we could just go with plucks for all of them if you wanted to. Click on D, let's go with a different one. And then for B, let's just go with this random one here. So now we've got our sounds loaded in. If we go to orbits, you see at the moment, here's our sounds A, B, C, D. And we can just drag this dot around here. Now, it'd probably be better if I hadn't chosen pluck sounds so they're a bit longer, so you could hear them changing when I held down a note. But in any case, that's how you alternate between these at the front here. Now, if I hold shift and click, you can see the dot moves back in the cube. So then it goes between the back ones. Now, they're all empty at the moment, so it's not going to do anything. But the cool thing here is that you can enable orbit to then have the dot move around the cube. Obviously, it's going silent at the back there. And you've got tons of different orbits that you can choose, from simple ones to like really complex ones. And you can also change the rotation. So if you've got a pattern you like at the front here, actually let's just do the retrigger to never. So it's now not going to keep re-triggering when I hit a note. It's just going to keep bouncing around the pattern there. So it's going to be slightly different every time I hit a note there, which is cool. But if we had all 8 sounds in there, we could then just change the orbit position to like wherever we liked within the cube to change the kind of pattern that we're making. So it's loads of fun to play around with there. What I really like about it actually though is these randomize options. So we can randomize the sounds to just switch out all of the sounds. And you can also randomize the orbit to totally change that. And you can also just randomize the effects, which we haven't looked at yet. But click on that and it just totally loads up random effects as well. So with these 3 options here, you can come up with all sorts of sounds. Let's just solo that. I mean, I could keep randomizing until I, make something I'm happy with, but you can just keep doing that to your heart's content and come up with all sorts of very different sort of stuff. I'm not sure why it's gone quiet. I randomized everything into non-existence. Let's load some presets. Yeah, beware of randomizing until, it completely disappears off the face of the earth. But yeah, I just wanted to show you quickly how you can use these randomizing buttons here to keep creating all sorts of different random sounds, where it switches out all of the samples, all of the different orbiting options you've got in here, and also the effects on there as well. I think probably the effects are the thing that are killing it. You randomize them, then obviously it might turn a limiter gain down or something like that, which makes the sound completely disappear. So yeah, so that's Cube. Just tons of fun there. You can make all sorts of sounds with that one. And lastly, we're going to move on to SplitEQ. Now, this is a really, really great plugin because it allows you to EQ in as much detail as you like the transient and the tonal properties of the signal. And that can be useful in so many different situations. The one I'm just going to show you quickly here is on this track called Poppy Peter. I've recorded myself saying Poppy Peter over and over again here. So I just loop it, Poppy Peter. And you can obviously hear there we've got those plosives from the P sound creating a obvious sort of bass boost. Now this obviously can be avoided if you record a vocal without with a pop shield, so it stops the breath from hitting the mic there. And you can see on the waveform you've got these very loud boosts, and if we open up SplitEQ, Poppy Peter, you can see the obvious sub boost we've got going on there. So what we can do here, when I move the mouse over one of these bands, one is currently set to low shelf, but instead of pulling the whole band down, you can choose separate handles there for one for the transient and tonal, and it's colored to help you out there. So all we need to do is move the green one down, Poppy Peter, 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 Poppy Peter. Which I can't hear it working right now. I've probably done something to the plugin. Let's just load the default one back up. Poppy Peter. Right, so here it is again. Let's just drag down the transient one. So we don't want to bring it down from the tonal. Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter. I don't know why I can't hear that happening. It's Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter, Poppy Peter. I think it is doing it. It's just the plosives are so bad on the signal that I can't. Poppy Peter, Poppy. I need to do it probably on the tonal one as well a bit. Poppy, Peter. Poppy, Peter. Poppy, Peter. Poppy, Peter. Poppy, Peter. The effect isn't quite as obvious as I was expecting in the headphones when I did it earlier. I was like, no, it's Poppy, Peter. Sounds a lot better. In any case, this is a great plugin for removing those sort of plosive effects. Maybe I've made it a little bit too Poppy, Peter. Destructive on the signal there when I recorded that one. Anyway, it's a really awesome thing to be able to control, because you do end up sometimes with these sorts of vocals where you've got those bass bursts and you want to be able to get rid of them. So the ability to EQ the amount of the transients without taking the bass out of the whole signal is really useful. We're going to go over to Loopcloud DRUM. I'll show you another example here. I'm just going to add some reverb to it. Let's say this is a drum loop, so you haven't got any control over the reverb. Not that it would have this kind of reverb on it, but let's just say, for instance, that you've got that kind of a reverb on there. So with SplitEQ, this time we're actually going to EQ the tonal properties. So not the transient, not the hits of the drums, but the tonal body that comes afterwards, which is things like reverb. First of all, you can see I can just turn them up and down like this. So you can just end up with one or the other. And what we want in this case is just to be able to EQ the reverb. So we can come in, for instance, remove all the highs from it here. Take out the bass as well. So yeah, we can not only sort of mess with the levels themselves, which is really nice to be able to do without kind of using any gating, but you can also come in and EQ all of the highs and lows out the reverb after the event. So really, really great to have this much control. And it's just two of the very cool things you can do with this plugin. There's so much more you can do with it, but to be honest, it's kind of a new area that I haven't really had the opportunity to do before. So I'm just still learning about all the different ways you can use it. But yeah, that's SplitEQ. And you're back.
And I'm back. Rob, you owe me a producer tech hoodie because we're about to end at 4:30, and I told you it would be 4:30, and you were.
Did. So it always does, isn't it? I'm always like, no, punchy. We'll get it done in 2 minutes today. Yeah.
I just got a few more questions to get through. Here we go. Come back. Okay, so about Cube, can you mix and modulate sounds using the XY pad? You can mix them. Modulation is different. The XY pad, and it's actually an XYZ pad, is more about the general gain mix of the 8 or less samples that you have loaded into those 8 things. And really good news, I saw a lot of people asking if you can load your own samples, and the answer is absolutely yes. So it's like it's the sampler. I mean, you can get a sample, you load, run the sample, but this actually you can load 8 and then mix between them in a really cool automated fashion with that big cube. Another question and another couple of comments that I saw in the chat was about CPU. Yeah, I mean, it takes CPU to look that delicious. It looks beautiful. The automating ball with following the line and the whole cube like moves around. It does take CPU, but you can actually turn off that visual, and there's even an echo, like an eco mode. So there are built-in ways to skirt or get rid of CPU intensive tasks that aren't necessary for what you're trying to do. So keep that in mind as well. And let me just keep moving here. Can you work? Yes, you can work with external sounds. Yes. Drag and drop your own sounds. Yes. Does SplitEQ let you solo the transient or tonal elements? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. That's what it does. Not only can you do that, and so this is kind of related to another question, which was, is SplitEQ like a transient shaper? And yes, you can use it just by its default as a transient shaper, but where SplitEQ excels is you can do it on a per frequency node selection. So a transient shaper generally will give you it's the full frequency spectrum. You can boost or reduce transients or sustain portions. But with SplitEQ, if I just want to boost the hi-hat on my mix, like my final pre-master, I can get in, isolate the hi-hat's frequencies, and then boost just the transient for that frequency. SplitEQ also has stereo width control. It also can pan or adjust the transient or sustained portions on just the left or the right channel. I mean, like Rob said, he only got to show a couple of things, but trust me, when you jump in and get into this, if you're a detailed-oriented person like I am, when I get into my mixing and mastering mode, the plugin is going to blow your mind. Watch the video I did. Again, it's another 15-minute video where I cover almost everything you need to know. In the video, I do think you can like repan a hi-hat on your pre-master. So if I have a client that sends me essentially a mono track, I can start panning individual elements using just SplitEQ after the fact. So things like that are just, they're so useful. And it's so great to have it in your toolbox if you can. What else? Oh, I also in the video boosted just the sustained portions of a vocal to make it stand out more in a pre-master. There are just so many applications for it, and the fact that you can isolate individual frequencies and boost just the transients or just the sustained portions or just the left audio or the right audio or increase the stereo width. It's a real doozy of a plugin. It's absolutely phenomenal. And let me just see. Okay. Rob, can you show your Christmas jumper? Is the last question we're going to answer today. Da 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 da. Dude, you always come so correct with the outfits, man. I got like a white T-shirt on. I need to step my game up, man. You
yeah,
make
what are
me
you playing at? Come on, man.
Yeah.
We want full fancy dress for the next one.
Full fancy dress.
It looks like it almost looks like you're wearing Santa's outfit.
Well, I did choose the red for festive, and I got a tree. Just want to point out the tree again.
Yeah,
I do have a tree. I don't know if you could see it. But I got my winners right now. We got the winners of the stream. Is everybody ready? Rob, can I get an air horn, please? No, I wanted like the.
Oh, right. Sorry.
You went straight like.
I'm summoning orcs.
Okay, Andre Litzek, Leitzke. You are the winner of Loopcloud DRUM. George Marvikis. Yep. Mavrikis. You win Reso. Hitesh Bandhu. Lifeline Expanse is yours. I think this is SonDreinsAtzKOMANNDO Berserker. You win Pigments 3. I am not even going to try. Is that German, Rob? Do you, as a person who lives in Germany, is that looks might be German there?
Say it again.
SonDreinsAtzKOMANNDO.
What? I have no idea.
Matthias Bowden, you win InstaComposer and Patchwork. Rosin Rosier, Rozier, you win Imagine. Gianni Montero, you win TAIP. Jabba Effects, I like that name. Claro. Corey Mumper, Cube, and last but not least, Andy Brown, SplitEQ. So if I've called your name, or if you're coming back to the stream, links, or we're going to put the links, well, not the links, but the list of who's won what in the video comments. We're going to pin it. You want to contact support@pluginboutique.com, and you need to send us a screenshot of you logged into your YouTube account here on YouTube, because we don't want any funny business. We know it's the holidays. No one's going to try any of that. But just to be sure the right people get the right prizes, send us support@pluginboutique.com, your name, what you won, and a screenshot of you logged into your account here on YouTube, and you're going to get whatever prize you won. Thank you to Rob, first of all. As always, it's great to see you. It's great to hear your demos. It's great just to chat. It's great to see what you're wearing.
Thanks, man.
I saw at the beginning of the stream people were asking where was the Christmas hat. You did wear a Christmas hat last year, so
I did. It's here. It's actually over there. It doesn't fit over the headphones. It might do, but
yeah. You gotta figure it out for next year, man. We'll give you some time. We'll give you a year to figure out how you're gonna do it.
All right.
Thanks to everybody in the chat, everybody watching. You've been amazing. I am much happier with how it went. People were very positive in the chat. The vibes were great. They were cheery. That's what we love. Thanks to Ryan for manning the chat and handling the questions, feeding them to me, and doing everything else behind the scenes. And thanks to the entire Plugin Boutique crew. Thanks to the entire Loopmasters Loopcloud crew, the whole family of the Beatport group. I'm really looking forward to 2022. Make sure you are subscribed because it's coming, and it's going to be coming fast and crazy next year. So you want to be a part of the community. We do things like this all the time. People have been here. I've seen a lot of Felix is in here. Mark is in here. I see a lot of people in here that have been in here over and over again. We do it. We do it right each and every time. So that being said, Rob, I think it's time to wrap it up and go enjoy the holidays. What do you say?
I say whoop whoop. Let's do it.
Whoop whoop. Sounds great. All right. So Joshua Casper here with Rob Jones, Plugin Boutique, and we will see you in the next live stream. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.